What's going on, guys? This is Aaron from Departures Capital, and we're here with John Lee, CEO and Executive Chairman of Silver Elephant Mining. It's a pleasure to have you back on today, John. How are you doing today?
Aaron, it's great to be back. Happy New Year, belated.
It's been a little while since we last spoke. Can you start by giving us an update on the company and telling us everything that you've been up to since we last chatted?
Aaron, Silver Elephant, we're a company listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange. Our primary focus is to develop our silver project in Bolivia. It's got over $40 million of prior investments and with over 100 million ounces of indicated silver in the ground. And 2022 has been a tumultuous year, to say the least. I wasn't quite bullish into the market given the rising interest rate and the correction in the equity market. So we've been hunkering down and preserve shareholder value, minimize our cash spent. And I think the worst is over. I came on a couple of interviews in September of last year when silver is $17.50. And I said the worst is over. And I assigned a $30 silver price target. Lo and behold, we're already more than halfway there. So I think all in all, we sort of got where we wanted to go last year, which was preserve the share register, make sure that our assets are in good standing, maintain our good community relationship, and then looking forward this year, we're going to be more on the offensive going forward for 2023.
Yes, this year is definitely looking hopeful. So recent news, Silver Elephant delivered an additional 6,600 tons of coal to China from its Ulan Ovo mine in Mongolia. Can you tell us more about this?
As opposed to silver, which was a bit of a doldrum in 2022, coal was actually the #1 performing commodity. So last year, I spent most of my time, the second half of my time in Mongolia, commissioning our Ulan Ovo coal project. That mine, similar to Pulakayel, is a very advanced stage project, fully permitted, had over $40 million spent on it. And after months of dealing with the government on permitting, on mining plan, on communities. So we're very pleased to say that the sales of coal started for the coal project, and we actually received a few $100,000 for the coal sale already since December. And the production is going to ramp up currently at the rate around, we sold 9,000 tons in 2 weeks, and we're going to at least keep that production rate and sales rate going. But then potentially ramp up additional coal sales, and that will be a function of the logistics. The arrangement is that the mining and the communities and employment is all the responsibility of our joint venture partner. And for every ton of coal that we sell, the company stands to profit from 50% of the proceeds. So it's a fairly good business model, of which our joint venture partner is also quite happy with. Given that the robust margin that we are looking at the current thermal coal price at about $150 a ton in China and well over $350 a ton internationally. And these prices are unprecedented. Aaron, never in my 20 years commodity career would ever thought that the thermal coal would go over 200, not to mention briefly touched 400 last year. And it's got to do with all the energy consumption and with all the sort of geopolitics as well as involved, as coal is closely correlated with oil. So nonetheless, we're very excited about the coal project going forward 2023. And that if all things go well, could potentially make the Silver Elephant as a company as a whole self-sustained. And what that means is minimize our dilution and preserve our share capital.
That's always a problem for explorers, and it's great that you're able to generate cash, especially in a difficult market. So that's great news. The company's El Triunfo East Block recently drilled 25.7 meters of 1.1 grams per ton gold in Bolivia. All 3 TEB drill holes encountered gold mineralization. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Right. Well, Aaron, that's really some of the drill results, some of the drill program that we did in early 2022, and then we did a modest financing for 1.5 million that closed in December. So we paid the bill. The results were released to us. There's some very interesting intercept. I think the Eastern Block was a new discovery that was never been drilled before since we acquired the project in late 2020. And whereas before, a majority of the focus is being on the Western Block. So given we had some good, well, the three holes we drilled all intercepted gold mineralization, and some are over 1 gram gold equivalent. That's not too shabby at an $1,800 gold. You're looking at $60 a gram of materials near surface. The significance of the news release is that extended the strike of the Ultra Info project by over 200% from less than 800 meters to over 2 kilometers. So that project is at early stage. It's a resource sort of it's early exploration stage. It doesn't have a resource yet, and so we're looking at we're sort of going over the assays, looking at some of the geophysics and geochemistry, and making sure that we can produce next round of targets, aiming at a high grade bulk tonnage potential later this year.
We talked a bit about the news. Now, what are some of the main factors this year that will drive shareholder value? What should we be looking forward to?
Well, Aaron, it's not so much of what we're going to be doing, but more about what the investors have, but more about reminding investors what Silver Elephant is all about. And Ultra Info is just an appetizer, but the main entree has always been the Pulucayo Silver Project, of which there's over 100 million ounces of indicated resource. At the grades are very similar to some of our peers, and multiple times our valuations, such as Abra Silver, New Pacific, they're all in our neighborhood, Eloro. And our market cap right now at 30 million shares outstanding is less than $20 million, a fraction of our peers. And some of that is just because we were being conservative and didn't want to stick our neck out and spend unnecessary promotional marketing dollars. But now it seems like the worst is over, and that's why we're on your program, just to bring additional awareness back to the investment community. That is a bona fide project. We had good relationship with the local communities. We will be announcing shortly an exploration program for Pulucayo and Paca. And then the key here is just to bring the message out there that we're still alive, and that everything is in good working orders. The claims are in good standing. Not unlike some of the unfortunately some of our peers couldn't survive. There's a number of them: Gray Panthers, Orcana, and Alexico, and the list go on. So we're open for business. And obviously, additionally, as we said earlier, that with the coal revenue coming in, our goal is to make this whole company a cash flow self-sustainable towards the second half of the year. So that would be quite exciting and minimize the dilution. So every additional progress and that the company makes, the value that create will translate directly to the bottom line for our shareholders.
Those are some great goals. So in terms of precious metals, we have seen some strength recently. It's been very refreshing, even outperforming the equity markets, you could say. So what's your outlook for the precious metal market or the commodity markets in general?
Aaron, this is the most bullish time for gold and silver that I'm looking at since the onset of the bull market starting in 2002. So it's 20 years. I have been around the industry, and the reason is there's a complete change of the political landscape, and the dollar hegemony is in danger. It's at its last chapter. If you look at Aaron, so for example, 6 months ago when I came on the interview, I already mentioned that gold was 1650, silver is 1750. I said gold is going to go 2000 and silver is going to go 30 for 2023. Lo and behold, we're only the first month into it. We're already sort of 20% from my target, and gold is already near the target. So I have to up my target to say gold is looking at probably 2,300 to 2,500, and silver we will be seeing $50 silver in 2023. And the main reason is not about deficit spending. It's not about the other currency. It's not about fiat going to the toilet, and it's not about people all of a sudden have this epiphany about gold. And Aaron, it's all about the dollar as a reserve currency. If you look at some of the largest dollar holders, they're not exactly being friendly to the United States. China, for example, they're going tic-tac, escalating tensions in geopolitics to Taiwan, as well as chips and a slew of things going on. And China has $1 trillion. And then if you look at Russia, their $350 billion was confiscated. And that made Saudi Arabia very nervous. And US is no longer the #1 oil. I'm not sure how much oil, maybe a minuscule amount of oil is imported from Saudi Arabia to United States, but rather the main customer is China. And Saudi Arabia actually made an order on the military shipments from China. So you look at China holds $1 trillion. Saudi Arabia holds about $500 billion. Japan is about $600 billion. If China were to attack Taiwan and the United States stand aside, the Japanese going to have a second thought about the US-Japan alliance, given what happened to Hiroshima not only 50 years ago.
Mhm.
So if you look at some of the top US dollar holders are out there, they're not in very best terms, to say the least, with the United States. And just a smidge of that diversification away from the dollar reserve is going to have an absolute profound impact on gold. And then silver as a collateral benefit. And so I'm very, very bullish on gold and silver. And the mining companies are laggard because people are still in disbelief. The guys are buying silver right now. It's almost like they're holding their nose and tapping into it, given that being burned so many times, broken promises. But I just want to show that from Silver Alpha's perspective, the management is very cognizant of this macro trend. We got a number of potential suitors that are knocking on our door. We're not going to be divesting our asset at this early stage, and then the investors and investment community is going to be looking at a lot of very exciting program for Polocayo and Paca for 2023, and a lot of fireworks from the macro thing. That is really the main message I want to share with you, Aaron, and your audience.
It should be an exciting year. I always love to talk about, forecasts, and your opinion was very interesting. So thanks for that. And finally, where should investors go for more information about the company?
Our website is pretty up to date. It has the technical report, all the relevant news releases. Go to silverelef.com, silver ELEF, and we're traded on the TSX, symbols ELEF, and then on OTCQX. We were one of the top 50 best volume on the OTC, and we're looking to bring that back again, the mojo back in 2023. Not to mention, I think, Aaron, the last point is the dollar. A lot of the correction for gold and silver was due to the rising interest rate, and I think that is also bringing it to a near end. There's going to be a lot of resistance on additional further interest rate hikes, regardless of what the power that be will want the rates to be. So we're going to be looking at one of the most spectacular gold and silver year in my 20-year career in the metals industry, and I look forward to sort of validate that or rehash or revisit in due course sometime later in 2023 with you, Aaron.
Definitely, we'll have to have you back on, and hopefully the markets have exceeded your predictions. So thank you so much, John, and we'll have to have you back on. Have a great day. If you like these videos, kindly hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. Drop us a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. And finally, always remember, Departures Capital is for information, education, and entertainment purposes only. Don't buy or sell a stock because you heard it on here. Buy or sell a stock because you've done your research, you've done your thorough due diligence, and you're making your own personal investment decisions for yourself. This video is not financial advice. Furthermore, this video may or may not have been sponsored by the companies that we've profiled within this video, and we may or may not own shares of any of the profiled companies in this video. If you want to know the full disclosure details, check the description down below, along with thoroughly reading our disclaimer. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.